Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Saturday Night with Twisted Koi. And guess if anyone joins us, there is a link in the comments if anyone does want to join us. How are we doing out there, ladies and gentlemen, on this glorious Saturday evening? And yes, I'm sat upstairs in the back cave. Nick, you, when you coming home? That's more the question. When you coming home? Our Nick Wharton's over in Cape Verde. He's been fishing for sharks and everything, you know. So, how we doing out there? Everyone joining in? Oh, I am chuffed to bits. Chuffed to bits. I've just found out that our Seska's Reef and Koi, Seska's Koi and Reef, or Seska's Pond and Reef. Well, no, you know the one I'm on about. Alex. She almost took the Crown Show with a difference last year, but her umbrella let her down. She is number 14 back at the National, and I hear that our Rocket Boy and our Tony are joined together, 28 and 29. I checked after I'd heard everyone shouting on the chat group. I went and checked my emails, and I'm that number one. Oh, make me grin from ear to ear. I am over the moon, and I am really looking forward to this year's national, especially with the fact that the chairman and put out a an email stating that this year that all the vats for the national sold out within 24 hours, which has never happened in his lifetime in the BKKS. So, guys and girls, you know, if that's not enough interest out there, surely we can find someone to stand up and step up and become committee members and keep the BKKS alive. Perky, brother, I sent you a link. Come and join me. Oh, Dino, please, not tonight. Yeah. Ads is in the building. Stu's in the building. Perky, come and join me, man. I had a good chat with Andy today, Koi Pond Lifestyle, and hopefully we're going to get Andy down to the towers at some point this year. But yeah, it was awesome chatting with Andy earlier. Things are on the go though. It is busy. And I know I've had quite a few people say to me, "Well, why don't you step up to the BKKS?" And I'm like, "But I'm sorry, but my life is just way too busy at the moment to be able to take on all of the paperwork and everything else that goes with it because it is a thankless task being a committee member on something like that, you know, because they do a lot of work behind the scenes that no one really sees, you know. And if there is anyone out there that can step up, it wouldn't just be good for the hobby, it would be good for the National Koi Show as well. Because if the committee positions don't get filled by the EGM, I think is it in October, then they would have to break up the BKKS, which means no national koi show, and then all the other koi shows that are done by BKKS sections are going to suffer as well. So it is going to be a real knock-on effect to the hobby if we do lose the BKKS. And yes, I am entitled to opinion on it because I am a member. But like I say, my life is so busy at the moment. What with all the work going on with volunteering down at the farm and everything else that I've got going on, especially with things I'm doing here and trying to get done here as well. It's hectic enough without having to try and take on. And I mean, and this is another reason why I don't do Instagram, TikTok, and all the other forms of social media, because there's times I struggle keeping up with the YouTube, let alone any other form of social media. So, but yeah, I really am looking forward to the national this year, and we've decided backpedaling tomorrow, finish politics. Yes. Oh, even better, Nick. Let me know when you upload it, and we'll get it shouted out. And if no one knows our Nick Wharton, his channel is Riviera Koi. So if you can pop along, give him a subscribe, that would be excellent. Marcus is in the house. Kazuku Koi, Somerset. Ads Koi's in the house. There is more of us. We can do our own show. Well, there is that ads, but the thing is, to put on a show, it costs so much, and it's not that easy to say, right, I've got a field, we'll hold a show, because you've got to think about keeping people's fish in the right condition, which means you've got, yeah, there is so much to it. And I think this is why Joe from the Koi perspective is pushing a online show, or a virtual show, if you want to call it, because it's done online via videos and photographs and stuff. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, was that 1, 2, or 3, or 4, 5, and 6? And those that are old enough know. But yeah, it's not easy. I mean, I've said it before that there's that many of us YouTuber wise that surely we could arrange something. But you know, after talking with people, the likes of Alan Tate and others, you know, there is a hell of a lot that goes on and goes into putting on a big show like the National, and it is the southeast one, the All England. Yeah, it's as big in that's face, I would say, as the National, but it's not as prestigious, is it, as in the National. So yeah, we need to keep the BKS alive, because we'll keep the hobby alive. And also, if you didn't see the video that Rick dropped today, and the ground show with the difference, Welsh Dragon Sankey Fry, 19 days old, and they are looking immense. We were looking at them on Friday, and oh my word, this year's ground show with a difference is going to be fun. Really is going to be fun. And I know Rick at the moment is having a real squeaky bum time until they start going out on Wednesday, or for Wednesday. So they'll be sorting them out sort of like Tuesday, I think, and then they go out Wednesday, and then Thursday for the Friday delivery and so forth. So everyone will get their fry this week. Stuart's asking, do you think they will be on crumb? They will be at a point where they will take the finest crumb that you get. But I personally, like Rick, it's like my son downstairs on World of Warcraft, gobble up. He stopped smoking in his bedroom finally, but it means he leaves his bedroom door open and everyone else has to fucking suffer. Kids, eh? But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, yeah, I would advise, without a shadow of a doubt, to try and keep them on some kind of live food for as long as possible. And in that, I mean brine shrimp, Daphnia. If you can harvest them, bloodworm, that sort of thing will be miles better than the crumb ever will be. So if you can get them to a point where you can add a bit of crumb with the live food and then start to wean them off that way. And the reason for that is the less time you've got them on the really fine powders, the less pollution you're going to get. All right, Chris. Because this is one of the things at the farm at the moment. The Grow and Show fry are at a point where they, yes, mate, and I was just about to get to that. Got some frozen brine shrimp, if not. Yes, you can. That will work. And what I was going to get to was they would be taking fry crumb or fine powder now, but because of the amount of fish that are in the 3 ponds that hold all the fry from the Grow and Show with the different spawning, they are being kept at the moment in 3 ponds. Now they are 3 unfiltered ponds, and the guys, oh, I say the guys, Rick, Jigsy, you bastard. Rick is absolutely running a knife edge at the moment in hatchery 2 with the Grow and Show with the difference fry, because the water temperatures in there are about 26 to 30 degrees, and the bags of zeolite are being changed on a daily at the moment. And like Rick said, if he was to start putting the fry crumb in, as in the really fine powder, he will end up losing more than half of them, because it would instantly screw the water up, make it toxic, and then he'll lose 3/4 of the actual fry that are there. So he is at the moment running a knife edge with live food as well. And the thing is, we were doing a bit of a video, some video for some shorts and stuff, and literally in the space of having the camera in the corner of the pond, in the space of about 20 seconds, we spotted 2 with another fry hanging out of its mouth as it's swimming past. So yeah, and you can see, well, I could see Friday that you can now start to see a split in the sizes in each pond, and that's when things start to go the other way. Because of the split, all the smaller ones, they end up getting eaten, and that could be one of your top fish that's getting eaten by a Toby. Can you see what I mean? It was interesting to hear him say about the floating net versus, yes, yeah, and the one thing we really do advise the most is the fry. They need to be kept in their own system, whether it be in a grown on system that runs on a bottom drain or whatever with a fry net in it. Now, if you're doing that, what I would advise is you make sure that the return is going into the fry net, so you're constantly refreshing that fry net with water from the filter. The reason for that is, if you don't, then what will happen is the sides of the net you'll find the sides of the net will clog up anyway, because of the fineness of the net. And then what happens is, because it clogs up, it stops the water movement, and then you'll find inside that net can become highly toxic, yet you're water testing the pond itself and the pond is fine. So with making sure that you've got a return constantly punching into the fry net or floating tub or whatever you've got them in, you're then ensuring that they're getting constant fresh water going in. You've got to work out somewhere letting the water go back through without it overflowing. That's down to you and how you do things. Oh no. So yeah, there's lots of facets, and it's going to be good to see this year because unlike last year, a lot of the people that are entering has built specific systems for growing the fry on. So there is so many different types of filtration going on out there. There's going to be different feeding regimes, different water, and to see the different results that are going to come in, because this time round you're only going to get a mix of 3 fish, you know. So you're either going to get a nice Kahaku, a nice Sankey, or you're going to get a Shiramuji, and everything in between those 3. So, you know, you could end up with a Sankey that's covered in more black than you'd think you'd see on a shower. You need to get the fry on solids as soon as big powder food. Yeah, you're right. Ad knows, because Ad's given it a go from the small size, and it ain't easy, and it's highly labour intensive. And I was actually, well, Susan actually had the conversation with me earlier about the fact I was talking about spawning again here. And like she said, at the moment, with the fact that you're doing so much, there's no point even attempting at doing a spawn in here again at the moment, because I just haven't got the time to dedicate to it that it needs. Because raising any type of fry is labour intensive. So, do I say it's not for everyone, but I'm really having to. Yeah, the powdered food is. Even though, how is everyone? This isn't. I'm not on a PC, DT. I'm on my tablet. I don't own a PC. I don't think I'll ever own a PC or a laptop when I can do everything on a tablet and a phone. But yeah, anyone else out, while we're on the subject of fry, anyone else out there got any questions on fry? Because I know we had another gentleman that's in the ground show decided to join the Telegram group this weekend. So that's 82 people we've got in the group. Not all of them are in the ground show with a difference. It would be nice to have all of the members of the ground show with a difference in there. And the banter has started already. So, mind you, I say the banters. Our resident winner, our Orchard Koi's gone very fucking quiet. He knows. Me, when I do mine, I go, that's about enough. But I know that our lesser spotted Ricardo has been working his magic in the office, and there will be, as far as I'm aware, an A4 printout telling you how to do your brine shrimp. Me, in fact, you see that? I've got to make the framework for it better. That is one of my supersized brine shrimp hatcheries. And basically, you can buy these lids that screw onto a 2-litre bottle, and they've literally got 2 nipples on the bottom. So if you want to do a basic one, you get a 1.7 or a 2-litre bottle. You cut the bottom off, and then you'd unscrew the lid, snap it off that stupid fucking thing that's on there now, fuck that off, and then you get this one. You can buy them on Amazon. Yeah, and literally they are just a. I do prefer kit that undoes. You put your airline on, tighten it up, it forms a seal, and basically you have one that's got air going into here because you need air to keep the cysts in suspension. Yeah, and then what I usually do is I usually use about 2 or 3 tablespoons of salt in there, and then I've got a dinky little aquarium here. I drop that in and I set it to about 26 degrees. And then what happens is I cover that area off because this is enclosed in the box. This goes dark, and then I have a light sitting above it 24/7. Yeah. And then when it comes to harvesting, what I do is I turn this light off, I cover the top, and then I put the light on this little gap down here. Now the reason for that is all those little brine shrimp are attracted to the light. So all your brine shrimp will come flying down to the bottom. You leave them to settle for a while, and you'll see it'll just be like a pinky orangey colour at the bottom. And then you drain them off, you feed your fish, and then you turn your air back on, and you should be able to do enough for one day in one bottle, which is why I always have 2 bottles going. So you've always got one, very much like down the farm. They have one set up for one day, and then because once you've got them in a rotation, then it's quite easy. And yeah, the longer you can keep them on brine shrimp and Daphnia, the better. But are we best to keep? Why are you putting the fry at 0.3 salt? Right, we not like Cuttlebrook Crow Farm. We say you have to salt your fry. No, you shouldn't need to salt your pond at all, or your vessel that you put in it. And like I was saying with nets, if you're going to keep your fry in a net, make sure that net is in a tank or a vessel of its own. Don't put that net into your main pond and then think that your fry are going to survive in there, because they won't. Don't tell me why, but 99% of the time when that happens, you will end up with about 3/4 losses. And it's to do with the fact that they haven't got their immune systems up to cope with whatever is in the main pond with your big fish. So that is why we don't advise putting your fry in a fry net in a body of water with other fish. That's why we advise in a separate unit on its own until they get to a certain point, and then you introduce them like you would if they were coming out of quarantine. So yeah, if you can't hatch the brine shrimp and you have trouble, you can get what they call is decapsulated brine shrimp, which basically means they've gone through this process and they've taken them out, and what they've done is they've freeze dried them. So you can feed decapsulated brine shrimp, which you can find on eBay, as well as freeze dried Daphnia is another one I use. And when and with your crumb foods as well, when you feed your crumb foods, chuck it on top of your air stone. And the reason for that is, from when they hatch to when they get to about a couple inches long, a lot of their instinct for feeding is movement. So if you want them to keep active, it's a little and often proposition with them. It's not a case of, right, one big lot at one time and then you'll have another big lot later on in the day. I wouldn't advise that because it will turn your water to shit. I would very little and often, but when you do, drop it into that air column. So you drop it on top of the sop. You have airstone running in your tank, your wherever, and then what you do, you drop it on top of there, and that will keep it in suspension, and that will aid them as well because it's moving. Because it's in suspension, it's moving. They're going to be, which is why when, like at the farm now, you're starting to see a split in the sizes, and that's because these ones are getting a bit quicker than these ones, which means they're growing quicker, and then these ones end up being eaten by these ones, and it goes round and round in circles, you know what I mean, until they get to a point where that sort of stops. Right, it does and it doesn't, because if you keep lots of them in a very small body of water for a long period of time, it will go from eating each other to tearing at each other's fins. Yeah, over the years, I have had myself, over the years, I've had it to a point where you'll look in the tank and there'll be a fish that's trying to swim because it got no tail because they've eaten living shit out of it. Evening Rocket Boy, number 20. Is it number 29 or is it number 30? Which one is it? I know you and Tony are sitting side by side, which is also going to help you out because you're both going to be helping each other out at the national this year, aren't you? With the gassing up and the bags and everything. See, camaraderie. That's what it is all about. So, ads, please stop with the salt. We are water keepers. Salt helps get nitrates for bad water keepers. Apparently, salt revives stress. Yes. Perky stir fry. Okay. Yep, Rocket Boy's number 29. So that must mean that our Tony from Farmore Koi is number 30. Evening, frankly. I mean, salt has its place. Now, I'm not a lover of having salt in my pond, but if the need arose, then I wouldn't worry about doing it. The only problem I have with treating a whole body of water with salt, and when I'm talking about taking the salt levels up to about 0.6 to 0.8, then it takes an awful lot of time to then get that salt out of the system, which is why 9 times out of 10, I would rather salt bath than treat the whole pond. But then on the flip side, if you've bought a load of Tosai and then all of a sudden you've got a pond full of sleeping sickness kicking in, then salt is your best friend. And if you can, heat even better. And with salt and heat, you can nurse them through, and but without salt and definitely without heat, sleeping sickness will go through your pond like a dose of salt. So yeah, in a lot of cases, it's good for the koi keeper, and in a lot of cases, it's not, because if you're someone like me who likes to have a lot of plant work and stuff all over your showers and whatnot, as soon as you put salt in that system, they go, I'll see you later, and they all start curling their toes up and then kicking the bucket. I lost a really good shower full of mind your own business because I salted, and that killed me, because I like my plants. I do like my plants in my showers, which is why I try not to. And like I say, I've got the big kahaka who's got to come out tomorrow for a salt bath, and I've got a couple of dead scales to flick out. But yeah, that's 9 times out of 10. The only time the salt goes in water is for a salt bath. Mix it in with the food every now and then, moisten the food up, and treat it like Rick does with the mungo eggs and let it soak in. Yeah, sometimes it's good for them. Yes, you're right, Rob. See, Rob's there as well. Plus, your plants would hate it. Hate it. They fucking detest it. And like I say, if you're like me and you like plants in your pond, now I have got a couple of plants in the main pond, but from experience, I've found that cordata, which is that red and greeny one, and grasses aren't really affected by it. But you mind your own business, moss and stuff like that, your ferns and things, they won't like it, and they'll curl their toes up, and then they will kick the bucket with a high dose. And if you're having to dose a pond to the point of like 0.6, 0.8, then you've got some serious problems, and you need to maintain that for at least a week. A week's worth of salt at that sort of concentration, it will wipe out any plant life you've got in the pond. No ifs, no buts, no maybes. Which is why the the, the tomato plants and stuff last year suffered, because we had to put salt in the twisted rocket pond as well as the Mungatutton ponds. And I've just noticed the old silverback joining the comments. What happened to my video call the other night, Mesh? I don't know. So yes, plans have changed on the main pond a little and all. Not gonna tile now. Once I finish boxing it in, I'm not gonna tile it. I'm going to clad it. Very much like the same colour as my Matt Stew box. It's like a really pale grey. Uh, Sitting and thinking about it, the cost in timber just to make sure that it would take the weight of a load of tiles, I just couldn't justify the price. I really couldn't justify the price on top of the tiles as well. And I had a very good quote a while back from plastics company here that my mate Stu Bob put me onto. So I'm going to save up the money, and I'm going to go to him and get me. All right, I was knackered. Yeah, so I'm gonna take him up on his quote, and we're gonna clad it instead. Still gonna put the clear perspex and stuff over the top, but yeah, I've or we have been the idea off of tiling it. Plus, you've also got the other worry as well, was tiling it without getting adhesive and grout and stuff in the pond. The last thing I need, especially as it in a lot of effects, it's a brand new pond. So yeah, I have had to deal with a little bit of new pond syndrome, and I'm still waiting for the green water to fuck off so I can net me fish up and measure them. But I think I might have to bite the bullet tomorrow and spend most of the day trying to find the fish that I need to measure them up, so I can work out my point scoring for what fish I'm taking. I've got to get my platinum Ogon out, because I fucking hope it hasn't lost the scale, because if it has, that fish not fucking going. And I wanted to, because that took a third last year, and I would love to see if it placed better this year. Now it's got some growth on it, but it looks like a good chance that I might not be able to fucking take that one now. So these things are sent to try us. They are, I tell you. Yes, Frank. I mean, I think it was Wednesday. That was absolutely bollocks by the time I'd got home Friday and Wednesday. Oh, usually have a bit of traffic on the bit where the M27 joins the M3. That bit was absolutely fine. And then we come to a grinding halt for about 20 minutes. When I finally get up up the hill, but past the Winchester turn, someone's decided to go down the fast lane and then implant themselves into the centre reservation at a diagonal. Yeah, closed off almost 2 lanes. So yeah, that was, I didn't get home till almost 7 o'clock Friday. Mind you, got a lot of fencing done. Managed to get the fence finished round the wheat pond. I got the end of the oak tree pond fenced. I built a gate for the one I finished, the wheat pond. I put a gate on that. And then Sean come round on the car, took one look and went, "Ooh, we're getting posh." Yes, I could get, but no, nice wooden gate for that one. And then round to square 2, where I did such a good job fencing that one. I fenced it that well. I didn't put a fucking gate in it. Yeah, so I'd go round to that one and put a gate in there, and then got the old the small lily pond lined, and then got 3/4 of the way round that one with some new fencing, and run out of cable ties. And that pretty much finished off the day on Friday. I mean, we didn't even get round to thinning out some of the fish in the Munger Tunnel, because we were going to thin out some of the fish in the Munger Tunnel in the first pond, because since we split them a few weeks ago, they have, and yeah, temperatures have gone up and Rick's getting squeaky bum. So yeah, the plan was going to cage that one up and take a good chunk out and put them into the filter pond. Now it had the fencing finished, but yeah, it was just chaos and that never happened. So it's another job that needs doing, but it's all go and we love it. Imagine putting a human on antibiotics from 1 year old. We treat our fish like princesses. I caught a carp at the age of 16 and then recaptured it at 36. These fish. Yeah, right. Yes, koi are a carp, but the further away you get from the original carp, which would be the magoi, which is basically a common carp, the further away you get from that, the less hardy they become. And the reason for that is simply because of the inbreeding and backbreeding to produce something that is what they want, not what the fish wants, if that makes sense. So, you know, and that's another reason why asagis and shisuis are absolutely fucking psychotic as soon as you get a net near them. And that is because they are one of the earliest koi, believe it or not. And it is one of the reasons why I do love my asagi. Stu Bob, click the link and come on. Sorry to keep on about the brine shrimp, but how long does it take for the eggs to hatch once you add them to the hatchery? If you've got everything right, 24 hours. Evening, Richard. How we diddling? Are you excited to get your fry this week, Richard? I know you're involved, aren't you? Are you doing it again, Bubbles, this year? I know Stu Bob is, because it looks like I'm bringing his home with mine on Wednesday. I think it's great when carp have fluke-type parasites. Great indicator for replacement. That one's completely lost on me because I don't do carp fishing. Evening, Stu Bob. Turn it that way.
Oh, how's that?
One.
That better?
That's better. How we diddling?
All right, mate. Yeah. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. I was jumping for joy about 40 minutes ago when I'd opened up my email. I'm super looking forward to the National now. How's your pond getting on?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, really well. I've got me. They're coming. The guys are coming to install the ozone system on it in 3 weeks. We're just under 3 weeks now, so I'm looking forward to having that put on.
Ooh. So what's prompted you to go for ozone?
I want to get the clearest water I can possibly get, and you know, at the moment the clarity of the water is pretty good, as you know, but I want to get rid of a bit more of the organics that's in there, then it'll take that out. Plus, it smashes a lot of the bacteria as well. So, you know, the fella that's bringing it in is really, really a guy called Malcolm. Really, really knowledgeable on it. And you know, some of the things he's been telling me about. I know, you know, obviously he wants to sell the systems, but yeah, he's swayed me a lot as well.
And what's the name of the company? Give them a plug while we're at it.
Right, hold on. Let me get his exact name because there's one very, very similar to him. So I don't want to get it mixed up with somebody else.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
Give people wrong. It's Koi Water Garden, because there's plenty of Koi Water Gardens out there.
Yeah.
But this one is in. Hang on. Let me get the town. On Henley Thames, Henley on Thames.
Right.
So he's coming out from Henley as well to do it. But yeah, you know, he's a really nice fella. You know, when you look at the cost of it, Jesus Christ, you could get one from like a few £100 to like just under 10 grand.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And funny enough, one of the most expensive parts to it is the skimmer. To get a proper skimmer, get a decent German skimmer.
Like Simon in the comments is asking here, are you getting it hooked up to a protein skimmer?
Yeah, it's the one I'm getting is the Sanders 300. That's a 3 meter. 3
so
meter.
You've gone for the same one that Ollie's running.
I don't know what Ollie's got. I think Ollie just had a Venturi one.
I know he's running the Sander because
which Ollie are you on about? Ollie, not Ollie that's dismantled his pond.
No, Ollie that I interviewed.
Yeah, that the old fella. He was another reason. He was another reason why I went for it. Listening to him, you know, it was like he's been keeping fish a long time, you know. And obviously, when you listen to him about the passion of it and about what did he say? He said he hasn't had a disease in his pond for 15 years or something.
Yeah.
So you know, he was backing up what Malcolm was telling me. So he was another reason, to be honest with you, why I went. You know, I was listening to that podcast there with a lot of interest.
Yeah.
But he seems very happy with it, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh, mate, Ollie, he couldn't sing his praises about it more than he did, you know. And like he said, it wasn't a cheap unit that he had fitted.
Uh-huh.
You know, at the same time, I admired the fact that he admitted that it took him 7 years to actually come to grips with how things worked for his pond. Yeah. And as you know, every pond is different. So, you know,
he was very much, the guy was very much saying, this is not just you turn it on and everything's up and running. He said it's something that it takes, you have to adjust and adjust. He said until you get it just, you tweak it right. You might not need it on full time. You might have to. You might not have to. It depends on really, you know, your setup and the one that you haven't done with it, like, you know. So, yeah.
Next question is: there's not a great deal of room in that fucking filter house of yours. Where are you going to put a ruddy grey ozone unit?
I don't know, because you know, I wanted to extend Well, I'm going to invest. And like everything in my life, it's all upside down. So the base plate, the footprint of the skimmer is quite small. It's like 700 by 700, I think it was, for the base plate. But it's very tall. It's like nearly 3 meters tall.
Yeah.
I did we did a sort of like an online survey of the filter house, and he's given me a couple of options there, and I've got a couple of weeks in which to decide whereabouts I'm going to put it. But the other thing you've got is not just this huge, great tall skimmer, but you've got like an oxygen generator, an ozone generator, an oxygen dryer. Oh, what else was it? There's loads of little bits that all sort of go along, So some are small stuff, some are big stuff. Yeah.
So when you having that fitted in?
It's about it's 2.5 weeks time.
2.5 weeks time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to ask next, don't you?
Pardon?
You know what I'm going to ask next, don't you?
Yeah, go on, what's that?
Can you ask him if I can film it?
Yeah, of course, mate. Yeah, absolutely. I think I think it's an interesting thing because not a lot of people use it.
No.
A lot of people are scared.
That's one of the reasons why I'll say, if you can ask him, if you don't mind him filming it for YouTube.
Yeah, of course.
It's promotion for him as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. He was telling me another example. He gave me the benefits of it. Was obviously he imports fish from Japan. This fella, like all the dealers, and he was saying that he sort of gets on about 800 in, and he will have like everybody. He said it's although it's not spoken about, there is losses. He said he said.
Oh yeah.
Before he had this, some of his losses were getting like quite ridiculous. So he said, he gave an example. He said one he had 800 fishing, and he lost something like 150 of them. And he then put his ozone system into his retail outlet, and his last shipment was 1,000 that he had, and he lost one fish. So he is really selling the health benefits of it as well as the water quality.
Yeah.
Or water clarity, should I say? Not quality, clarity. He said it's like a lot of people sort of look at people's water and go, "How did you get that so clear?" And he said the secret is nearly always ozone.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
I can count. What's on the bottom of I can count the screws on the bottom of my pond at 3 meters. So and that's all done just by bacteria and filters. I'm well over filtered.
Yeah. Well, it's like Rick was saying on GKP on Thursday. You look at the 3 ponds that are in Megamunga Tunnel. Ponds 1 and 2 are Rick's, and the Twisted Rocket Pond, and how heavily they're stocked and how heavily they're fed, and that water is crystal clear. And a good chunk of the filtration is plants.
Yeah. 100%.
And the rest,
like you were saying earlier on, with people talk about, when you look at the fertilizers, they're full of nitrates. You know what I mean? And they're taking that out of the water. So that's what you're naturally fertilizing those plants, and it's a benefit to both the ecosystem of the pond and
I mean, we're not going to we've decided we're not going to do it this year, but we're not going to be growing tomatoes on the or tomato plants on the Twisted Rocket Pond this year, even though that water sparkled.
Yeah.
And I mean, that water sparkled on that Twisted Rocket Pond last year, but the amount of times that we had to hack back a fuck chunk of tomato plant.
Yeah, I see that one. It grows right away along,
real. I mean, honest to God, there's a good 2.5 foot gap between the back of the pond and the curve of the polytunnel. Yeah.
Yeah.
It had grown all the way up, then went all the way back, hit the plastic, and went all the way down to the floor, and they were rooting in the floor. And
How many pound of tomatoes did you get out of that plant?
none,
Huh?
none, not a fucking one,
No.
because we hacked the lot down, yeah, and no word of a lie, within about 5 weeks, it was back again, exactly the same.
And never got no tomatoes of it.
Never got any tomatoes off it. In fact, before we hacked the first lot, that hacked it back the first time, Tim, the old boy, he kept saying to me, "You need to pinch him out." But the thing is,
Yeah.
the days that I'm not there, I'm not going to be. And in the space of like, we were there on a Monday and then go on a Wednesday, and you've got about fucking 2 foot of fucking growth, and you're like, I can't. So he actually broke a bit off, took it down to the old shop, and grew one of these offcuts just to show me what I could have had
And
had
tomatoes.
I grown them properly and
Yeah.
topped them off.
How's the Frankenstein pond doing?
Frankenstein pond is booming along, bro.
Yeah.
Mind you, so's the Tosai tank.
Yeah, I see the toe side tank the other day, but I just wondered how your your new filter, how that how that
Oh,
material
That material, that stuff's fucking awesome.
is
In
in it.
fact,
Told you you'd be
I,
pleased.
I show how porous or how many holes are in that stuff.
Yeah.
I pulled the watercress out because I was thinking about it, and I thought by the time that really kicks off, I'm not going to get hardly any water flow through because it's just going to fill up with root. And when I pulled those, and I mean they're only about this big,
Yeah.
and I cut them once. When I pulled them out of the thing, the amount of bits of that media
It was
that
clung to,
actually came out because the roots had grown into the fucking media. Pull them off, but
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, to me, it's brilliant for like a backy shower. Not sure that like where you had it with your plants, but in a backy shower, the stuff is bloody. It's better than that BMH stuff.
It does need a fucking good rinsing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
A fucking good rinsing.
Yeah. You get that.
I mean, I gave it a bloody good rinsing, and I mean, I hosed the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And I still ended up with a brown tinge in the water.
Yeah.
I got
my
my.
mate spat me, and I just poured it in, and then I filled the whole chamber up, and I thought I'll just see what that's like. Turned it on, and suddenly, why's my water just gone completely brown? But I couldn't be asked to wash it, so I let the pond do it for it. I thought it can't hurt, and it didn't actually. More minerals in the pond. Because it's clay based. That stuff is clay based.
Yeah, it's just baked at high temperatures.
Yeah,
I'm just grinning about. I can't wait to see. Yeah, I mean, in that little tiny filter house of yours, you've got a Nexus, you've got a 4-leaf clover multi-bay, and you've got an Oase combi drum, a fish tank, backy shower, shelves. Where the fuck are you going to fit that ozone generator and protein skimmer?
Well, the fella said I can either have it to the side where I've got a big fuck off canister filter that's running on that aquarium.
I mean, you've got the fucking Tempests as well.
Oh, because I had those ones from you that that I grew on, and fuck me, if you see the size of them now, mate, and my blonde Asagi, it's fucking like a white Asagi. It's got like its proper pink eyes now, and it's white throughout. It's just white.
Oh.
So
how's the red coming?
I'm hoping. Yeah, I mean, mate, what were they like? They were like not much bigger than your fingernail size when they went in.
Well, it was only a little green fucking fish tank I did a scoop with.
Yeah, that's right. And honestly, they're in there. They're all out of there now. Everyone I've got. So that tank is now what I'm going to use for the growing show, to start them off in there. But the fucking size of them now, I don't know what it is, genetics or whatever it is from the New Forest, but bloody Jesus, they are growing machines.
Oh yeah,
And I got some
Yeah.
really, really nice fish out of them. Really nice, you know, proper.
How's your little Sancho doing?
Ah,
How
that's
big is he now?
that was the one bit of sad news. Yesterday, I lost it. I lost that one, the one that my fucking favourite. I lost it, and he was it was bigger than me. You know, it was as long as me thumb. It was like, you know,
Yeah. I mean, it was only a small fish anyway, wasn't it?
yeah, it was a tiny little thing. But I just come down. It was fine one day. The other two were fine. It whittled it down to three, and there was three left in there, and he was one of them. They just weren't quite big enough to go into the pond. And yeah, I just come down in the morning before I went to work as always, and there he was, gone. Oh, fucking gutted. But I think it was something internal in it, you know, just nature. But the scales were just coming out on it. They were lovely, you know. But hey, you know, the other ones in there, that the Matsukao Bubaki, whatever you
The
call
mixed
it.
Matsukawabaki.
That's it, the black and white one. Black
Yeah.
and white, bluey colour one. That one, oh mate, that's gone. Whoop. You like that one when you see it. But yeah, and the what was that other one, like the corny looking one, the gin rin sort of colour to it. Can't remember what it is. And you said there wasn't many come out of there yet.
Oh, the little Ginrin Shisui.
Yeah, that's yeah, that's come on nice. So yeah, but really pleased. So you know, that was why I was quite, you know, was interested about the brine shrimp so much earlier on, because I bought one of those sort of hatchers. I got the egg. I didn't know when to start them, so if they come in Wednesday, and you say it's about 24 hours, I might start experiment with that Monday. You know,
I would set your brine shrimp hatchery up on Monday evening.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do then, and give it, because it's the first time of that. But I'm gonna start them off.
Because they're going to be starved. They're going to be starved for at least 24 hours.
Right.
So
okay.
when they arrive, once they're in, they're going to be hungry.
There was another question I was going to put on the group there, which was, you know, obviously I got a big canister filter on that aquarium, over, like everything with me, it's oversized, and it's really turned, water's really, you know. So I was thinking, right, turn that off, because I'm worried about them getting sucked up the inlet of that, or and then just have a bubble filter going in there, like a bubble sponge, or do I put a net over the inlet to the filter? Which way would you go?
Hang on. Hi Vince, D. Floyd Matthews is a new name. Do you still sell koi? If so, where do you advertise them? I haven't at the moment, and yes, I do have a few to move on. Oh, Stuart's disappeared.
What happened there? We know what I've done with this. Oh, we know what I've done here. Upside down, back, front. Here, I'm back.
There he is. How are we doing, Yorkies? Yes, Floyd, I do. I usually let people know on the channel if I've got fish to move on. But if you drop me an email, we can exchange numbers and have a chat. Simon Shears says he's going to be using fluval internals ×3, so he's going to use 3 internal fluval filters. But yeah, you can use an external filter. Is that tank empty now?
I've sterilised it. I've PP'd it. I've aquaflabbing it. I've done everything. It's had everything in it, and then so it's completely sterile. And I'm just building the bacteria up at the moment in the filter. So I'm just using some Bacto Plus and stuff.
Right. Well, Bacto Plus won't start your filter going.
No, I know he needs a fish in there, but
no. You can get ammonia, any type of household ammonia.
Yeah.
Add little bits of ammonia. You feel
Well,
it was
I'll confess, shall I confess? I pissed in it as well, actually.
okay.
That's what I
Yeah.
did for the ammonia.
Yeah,
So,
Rick's done that as well, so don't worry, you're not the only one.
well, I've heard people doing it, and I thought, fuck it. But I did feel a bit of a perv in my fish. I was pitching in a fish tank. You know what I mean? It did not feel right. I tell you. I thought, my missus walks in now and sees me doing this. She'll be like that. What? They'll be divorced. Yeah, it didn't feel right, mate. I tell you.
Fair play for you. Fair play to you for being honest, though, bro.
I've got to give this a go. Like, I've got to get the filter going because coming Wednesday it was all panic. When the lad rang me the other day and said, is Wednesday all right for you? I was like, yeah, can't wait.
Yeah,
Proper excited about this. Like, really am.
I'll be getting text messages. You home yet? You home yet?
Yeah.
You home yet? Mate, you're not the only one. I think everyone is really, really invested in this year's Grown Show with a Difference, and I think even more so with the fact that one of the parents, as well as it being a well-known strain, that being the Dragon Ball line from Sakai, but the fact that the dad used to belong to a YouTuber, aka Lee Hadfield, the Koi Soldier, and has won major prizes with it at the National Koi Show and other koi shows. So yeah, it's a show-winning parent. So
it was interesting when you said to Ricky about because when you look in them nets, when he scoops them up and you see like orange ones, white ones, black ones, some with two colours in them. And when you said to him, do you get rid of all the black ones? Do you get rid of all the white ones? Which ones do you keep? Which ones do you get rid of? And he was sort of like, that's too early. So like I think you got it's going to take a couple of months before you can start thinning out.
well, like I say, I don't think it'll be that long before thinning out, but I'm looking forward to it because I'm going to learn a lot from this one, because Sankey isn't usually my go-to in that effect. Question: I saw a video the other day and he used WD-40 inside his drum to lubricate it. Is this true that it is made of fish oils and completely fish friendly?
No, bollocks.
Not as far as I'm aware.
No.
I know WD-40 is a water-based lubricant.
It's the actual propellant that is. If you look at the best thing for that person to do is go online and look at the material safety data sheet for that product. So just type into Google material safety data sheet WD-40. One of the things that I definitely do know is it's the propellant that makes it a hazardous COSH product, but it will tell you on there exactly if it is safe for aquatic or not. It will give you that. So material safety data sheet, Google WD-40, it will give you the environmental information where it's fish.
I'm gonna have to look that one up now.
Yeah, definitely. Any product that has got a COSH symbol, you know what I mean, a COSH, flammable, environmental hazard, irritant, that kind of stuff. Any product that's got that, it's a legal requirement to have a material safety data sheet published for it. Even like your Tesco's bleach will have one. Just Google Tesco's bleach material safety data sheet. It'll tell you what to do in the event of first aid needed, what first aid is, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yes, Susan, and it's getting longer. Don't you panic. I'll have it platted soon, just to wind you all up. I know. We did a live at the Forest the other day, and Alan Tate come straight on with fucking chin ponytail. Really, Vince?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
I saw that.
Yep.
I like the one early on tonight as well. Roy Orbison.
Oi,
That was a good one.
I can't help it. My eyes are playing up at the moment, and if I haven't got them on, the fucking screen goes fuzzy.
All you got to do is stick a fucking guitar in your hand and you're in. That's it.
What's that Susan saying? We need no, fuck that, no. That has to be cut short. Rob says, has no environmental hazard on it. I looked on the can because I thought it was a complete no-no. Andrew Murrell just turned around and said, it says online WD-40 is not fish safe.
There you go. The material safety data sheet is the manufacturers. It tell you it actually tell you, unless you're some of it you won't understand unless you're an industrial chemist, but it will actually give you the breakdown of everything that's in that in that liquid, like in that oil.
Yeah, well, my man Andrew Murrell, he's checked. So yeah, don't use WD-40 on your drums.
I wouldn't.
Nice highlight there, Rob, my man. And like I say, if someone didn't confirm it, I would have confirmed it later on because, yeah, it's a bit like our, I can't remember his channel. I remember his name, Paul Brogdon. Salted his pond with dishwasher salt and then lost his fish.
Oh, fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm all for cutting corners and doing things cheaply, but yeah.
God, I don't think I'd put that. If it says dishwasher, it's that for a reason.
Mind you, I have hatched brine shrimp with dishwasher salt.
That's another challenge I'm looking forward to, is this brine shrimp lark. You know about bringing on the fish. If I'm successful at brine shrimp, I'll be happy.
It's not that difficult. All you need is a light, an air.
I've got all the gear. No idea.
Yeah.
That's the thing with that
Good
one.
job. Yeah, good job. I'm only I'm not even 5 minutes around the corner, am I, Mush?
That's it. Yeah, just round there. So you're going for the cladding. I think that's a really good idea. I think you'll be pleased with it. Yeah, you need a little 2x2 frame up behind it, and then you can fix it to that.
Well, that's what I mean. If with cladding it now, I don't have to go heavy duty on the framework. I can use a couple of bits of wood, bing bang bosh, job done, and then it's sorted.
Yeah, 100%.
How are the Welsh Dragons doing? Any idea when they are ready to be shipped? They will be shipped out this weekly. If you haven't heard from Carl at the shop, give him a call on Monday. Are you collecting or are you having them shipped out? Take it you're having them shipped. That's why you're asking if they're being shipped. But yeah, you need to give the guys at the farm a call Monday morning to arrange when they have yours delivered, whether it arrives on Wednesday, Thursday or Friday.
What do they do, Vince? They just scoop a load out and chuck them in a bag and that's your bag sort of thing?
It is a blind scoop count. So it'll be a scoop with a net, counted into the bag. That's it. Next one.
Well, they literally count. They literally sit there and count.
Oh, yes. Last year's ground show with a difference. I know he's going to smile. He's going to sit there and smile going, he's going to tell. He's going to do it. But our Dave was responsible for a lot of people last year getting extras.
Dave, count mine. You can count my bag. No problem. You can count mine. Put S on the bag. Make sure you know it's my one.
I mean, bless her. Our Joyce Drinkwater, she ended up with about 290.
So if you turn up at my house with a black bin bag, I know Dave counted them.
And then you got like me and Rick ended up got shortchanged, and we had less than everyone else. You know, so told you we'd be laughing in the comments. Yes. Don't get our Dave to do the counting. That's for sure.
I'll be happy for him to count mine.
But
Like I say,
I've
you'll
got
turn up with a big black bin bag full of them.
all fingers crossed for Rick tomorrow. Because
Why is he worried? Is he that? Because he did seem very concerned on that video.
He is very concerned at the moment, because usually by now all of those ponds in the hatchery will be empty,
Right.
stripped, disinfected, and filled back up, ready for this weekend. But he hasn't got all his ponds for this weekend, because he's still got 3 ponds full of fry that would normally not be there.
For
Now,
this weekend, what's
this weekend, well, our Rick has got the daunting task tomorrow of catching up the broodstock for the next round of spawnings tomorrow.
oh,
The
right.
only problem is Sean's not there. Carl's in the shop, which leaves our lesser spotted Ricardo on his own to try and catch up and and everything else and get to the spawning tunnels all on his own. And then Dave will pick me up at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, and when we get there at 5 or about 4:30, hopefully things would have been kicked off and we can actually get another video and live of the spawnings going on.
What do you know? What he's going to be spawning next?
It's going to be Kahaku, Goshki, more Kahaku, and I can't remember what else he said. So you'll have to wait and see.
Oh yeah. Is that going to be another sort of spawn for sale, or that just for the New Forest koi?
Well, see, what happens is they'll sell a certain amount, and then a certain amount will go out to the ponds.
Right.
You know, which is why a lot of the fry go as unselected, because they're going out at sort of like 2-3 weeks old.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Rick didn't want the Sankey fry going out at 2 to 3 weeks old, because, no disrespect to people out there, he, like you said, about 3/4 of those fish at 2 to 3 weeks old would have gone out, and then about 3/4 of those people would have been ringing up within the week going, they're all dead.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is purely to do with the fact that it's Gosanki. Gosanki fry are so much more temperamental than, say, your metallics and everything else.
Is that the bloodline that's done that? Is it?
Yeah, well, it's basically like I say, the closer you get to things like Gosanki, the more they're genetically manipulated. Can you see what I mean? Because they're changing, they're breeding siblings together and then back breeding that one with a parent to try and get this body shape or this powerful shoulder, or can you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they are so intensely fucked around with, basically, it makes them weaker.
Got you.
So you Sankey Kahaku Showa, because of the way that certain bloodlines are in effect created, it inherently makes the fish weaker.
Got you.
Because in a lot of ways, when doing that, they're breeding the wildness out of them. Which is why, like I say, you'll find Asagis and Shisuis are absolutely fucking psychotic.
When's the last spawning going to be then? Because obviously time is getting on. I don't know. When is the last one?
There will be there should be, touch wood, a 3rd set of spawnings this year.
Because when you talk to most of the dealers, they're saying that now the the Japan side of thing, they got what, one or two more imports, and that's just about Japan finishing because the temperatures get too hot out there to ship them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get too hot here for the spawning, so to speak.
The one thing that fucks up the spawnings more than anything is British weather. You know, and we had it last year, had it this year to a degree, but in a different manner. But last year, you know, they had to get the fish out of the hatcheries because the next spawnings were going to be, but the temperatures outside weren't right for the live food that the fry need.
Right.
To go out there, you know, and it got to a point where Rick ended up having to, again, like he's done with the Grown Show with the difference, he's had to thin out ponds. But what he done was he thinned them out and put them outside because he had nowhere else to put them. Otherwise, he would have lost. He lost a few anyway, but he ended up keeping more than he did. The only difference being because of the temperature difference when they went out to the pond, turns them off the food for a while, which gives the Daphne and that little bit of time to grow, which makes them too big then.
Right.
Can you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And it knocks things back.
I bet he wished he had that Phoenix 3 on the go a bit lively.
Oh, Phoenix 2.
Phoenix
Mate,
2,
that's
Phoenix 2. Yeah, Phoenix 2. I've jumped one. Yeah,
Phoenix 2.
That was like a undiscovered bloody gem.
Mate, it took long enough for us to convince Sean to invest in Phoenix. After, I mean, they spent thousands on that place when that place was all insulated out at the time. It was one of the best fish houses for growing on fry of Tosai in the country.
Right.
And then they had a fucking great wind come through. It was a real nasty storm, and it literally took half the roof off, just peeled it like a tin can.
Okay.
And it trashed the whole place. And they got it to a point where it was usable, but no one really liked going up there at all.
Right.
And well, as you've seen over the last year, we've managed to turn things around up there, and oh my god, what a transformation!
Oh mate, it's you know, I've been watching your videos for about a year and a half now, I suppose. You know, and to me, like watching that, I think that's one of the most interesting things about the videos up there. Not only what Ricky teaches everybody, he doesn't keep any. I'm sure he keeps a couple of secrets close to his chest, but it comes across as a real, genuinely, I want to show you how to help your own fish. You know, that's what I like about that. You know, you could see today when I was watching the video, you know, you could see him. He's going like this with his head, with his hair. So you could see the physical signs of stress that he was going through over these fry. You know, he come out the fish house. He's like, you know, it's going to be close. You know, and you can see.
Like I say, we are skating a knife edge with this one.
Yeah, that definitely come across, definitely 100%. But when you look at that, you know, it's not only just that reason that I like to watch. You know, that we, but also just seeing it, the progression, and how basically it's done. Really, you know, bit of plastic,
and the thing is,
few cable ties, and away you go.
The progression hasn't just been Phoenix though; it's been on the farm itself.
Yeah,
and you know, looking, if you go back to the very first video I did at New Forest, must be almost fucking 40 years ago. You know, you go and look at one of them videos now when we're walking around the farm, and you look at the videos now, and the changes and that have been done and implemented and that are still being done. You know, there's still so much more that the farm's got potential for, and it is getting there. But a lot of it is cost.
Well, it was
You know, it's like
I couldn't
I
when
was,
he said about the cost of the shrimp.
I was chatting with Sean Friday. Oh, I think we've lost Stuart.
Yep, still there.
Yeah, I
Yep.
was chatting with Sean Friday because, like I say, I've been doing a bit of the fencing, and when I said to him about it, he said, "You do realise those rolls are like £150 a roll, and
But how many
one
rolls were
roll,
there?
you know, and I so far we've gone through about 5 of them rolls, and that's
Well,
just on fencing, you know, the actual fencing. That's without the new poles, the new posts, and everything else that goes with it, on top of, you know, all the other expenses they got to think about, like the electric and everything
well, it's
else that goes
like,
into it as a business.
when he said about the cost of that brine shrimp alone,
Yeah, yeah,
about 50 quid a day, wasn't it, or something?
that's what I'm saying. At the moment, there's 4 ponds of fry. Now, one is the mix for the fry orders,
Uh-huh.
and the other 3 are the ground show with the difference. And those 4 ponds are eating up £50 a day worth of brine shrimp.
That's that's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Get a bit cold out there, mate. I think I'm going to
yeah.
come.
You think that's with 4 ponds. Now there is 12 ponds in total in those hatcheries.
Add that up.
So yeah, when you start working out the cost of that, then you know what I mean. And then people have the cheek to complain about the prices of koi, even at the prices that they're sold of at the farm. You know what I mean?
But he doesn't sell. He doesn't sell them. His prices are well below the national average.
Mate, it is the only thing that both myself and Rick have argued about between the pair of us. It's the only thing we ever argue about, and that is the amount that he doesn't charge for some of his koi.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, if you look at that one that he gave Dave, Rocket Boy, you know, what a lovely gesture anyway. But if you look at the value of that fish anywhere else,
you're talking 600 quid, easy.
yeah,
If
so
not more.
yeah,
You know,
I think that was definitely a 500 quid fish.
it without a shadow of a doubt,
Yeah,
because you don't see very many Deutsche Heroes that good.
no. No, I
You
mean, you, know,
just,
you look at some of the monkeys. I see one the other day myself. Somebody was selling one for £3,000. You know, and it was only like there was 35 cm, I think it was, and it was up there on for 3 bags, and I was like, that, you know, come on, that's just jumping on a bandwagon of ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. And the thing is, I mean, I think Crafty mentioned it on the GKP Thursday, is that that they're not all they're all being sold as yellow monkeys,
But they're not.
yet they're orange,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
off. You know what I mean? So they're not true yellow monkeys. You know,
100%.
because I think it's got to a point now where it's a case of, right, they've seen that this is a moneymaker, this one, so we'll just batch the whole lot together without selecting them out, which is wrong. You know, when you looked at the picture that got put up on the screen, you know, the difference in colours. And I mean, I've seen the yellow monkey that Crafty's got at Perfect Aquatics,
Yeah.
and there was one in that bowl on that video that went on Gaz's show that looked like the yellow monkey that Crafty's got at Perfect Aquatics. It
Well,
looked like a bowl. It looked like a bowl of normal Chagoi and Karashigoi. It didn't look like a bowl of yellow monkeys.
yeah.
And that's what I mean. Some things get taken too far.
Well, you've seen the I got in mind, and that's yellow. That is yellow. You know, it's proper.
Yeah.
You know, it's as yellow as a daffodil. So, but you look at, I've seen other ones, like you said, I've seen brown, I've seen like, you know, ones that just look like a chag to me, you know, with a bit of, some even just look like a genuine chag. But it's just like, when I see that one the other day, but when you look at the pricing that New Forest that Ricky does down there, and you just think, bloody hell, you know, sometimes it makes you think, why is that fish going so cheap? What's wrong with it?
And there's nothing wrong with it at all.
But you know, it's that false sense of it's so cheap for a reason.
Like Simon's just said here in the comments, I think it's cheap. £1 a koi, less than a quid when you add the food package, you know, and the fact that you'll get some quality Welsh Dragon Sankies. You might get the odd Showa looking Sanky because of the Dragon Ball. You're going to get Kahakus, you're going to get Shiramuji. Sorry, Simon, you won't get Platinums because they're not metallic. So you 3 out of the 4, but you got the point right. You know, everyone that's in the ground show with the difference has paid £100. They're getting 100 fry, and they're getting a food package as well that should see you through to 20 cm.
Oh, there's a food package as well. I didn't know
you get
that.
a food package as well. So in that you will get some brine shrimp, and then you'll get 3 or 4 stages of food. So you'll get the real powdery food, then you'll get the slightly smaller crumb. I think it's a 0.3 to 0.5 or a 0.3 to 0.8, and then so you'll get, I think it's a 4 or 5 pack food pack with the fry as well.
And that's what I mean. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
For that money, and shipping. I mean, to send a box of fish is 30 quid, I believe, isn't it?
I mean, Sean's daughter, bless her, she's been coming in on a Sunday just to do the food packs. You think there's almost 100 people entered into the ground show with a difference. So that's 100 food packs.
Well, if it's 3, that's 300 per person. That's 300 packs, isn't it? Because you've got if it's 3 packs per person.
You get your in that you get your brine shrimp, you get your crumbs, your powder, your crumb, your pellet. So you're getting sort of like 4 or 5 bags in that food pack.
Yeah, so she's got to measure out 5 lots of food per person. And how many people are in it? Nearly 100 people?
Nearly 100 people. So she's at 100 lots of 5. Yeah.
Bless her.
A little brine shrimp come in a little plastic pot. Best to keep them in the fridge.
Right.
Yeah. Best to keep them in the fridge.
Yeah, well.
Out your fridge into your brine shrimp hatchery, which is heated. It will help kickstart the process of their hatching a lot quicker.
And do you just top up, or do you empty the ones that's hatched all out and start again?
You start again.
Oh, so every batch.
So that's what I'm saying. So 1 bottle, 1 day.
Oh, I need some more bottles then.
Yeah, so that's why I've got 2 bottles. So I've always got one cooking while I'm using one. Can you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So when the evening comes and I feed the last feed, the next one goes in.
And what is it, like just a teaspoon of these eggs in there, or?
Teaspoon is all you'll need to last you. Much you could, depending on how big they are and how heavy they're feeding, you could get away with one of them for 2 days.
Right.
But if they're hungry, they could go through one of them in a day.
Bloody hell. So you just throw them in the morning, end of the day, they've all gone, throw another load in before they start eating each other.
You want to be feeding them at least 4 times a day.
4?
At least.
Shit, what am I going to do about that when I'm at work?
Get the missus to do it.
Yeah, shit like that. but we're
Oh
pulling up.
no, that means I'm gonna have to come round and fucking shower, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. There has to be I think we'll have to have a Monday evening tutorial on Jesus fuck. Oh mate, I thought I was all prepared for this. Obviously not.
Sorry, I've shot you in the foot now, haven't I?
Yeah. I bought a massive bunch of flowers and go creeping tomorrow.
I think
Well,
you're going to need more than a bunch of flowers, Mush.
Yeah, I think I am, but at least I've got till Wednesday to get prepared now.
Have you told her that she's losing that bit of the garden for your new grow on?
Yeah, she's all right on that one actually. Surprisingly, because I've told her what I'm going to do there. She's all for it. She's like, yeah, but no more. I'm not allowed to have no more. I can only go that way. I'm not allowed to come this way. But once I get that bit done, I think that'll be enough anyway. It's more than enough up there.
You got the perfect opportunity though, because what you do is all your rejects, you just chuck them in a nature pond.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these are your fish now, love. You can look after them.
Already in here, mate. Because you know what, I was thinking of even doing a little experiment where I was going to take about 10 of them from the start and put them in there and just let nature take its course and see what.
Why not? Because there's nothing else in there fish-wise, is there?
No, nothing at all. The only thing that's in there is tadpoles. There's some tadpoles in there, but but other than that, there's no other fish in that pond whatsoever. And it's got all full of leaf debris and it's all plants, water mint and all that kind of stuff in there. The water's gin clear. There's nothing in it. There's a waterfall running in it with a little small pump, so that's all okay. So I might do that as well. I might just as an experiment because I think a lot of this is for a lot of people who haven't done it before, a bit of an experiment anyway. It's a bit of a learning curve.
Have you got any chicken manure pellets?
Have I got any chicken?
Chicken manure pellets?
No.
Oh.
What's that for?
I was going to say, chuck some in that nature pond. And with this weather we're having, give it a couple of days, it'll be green by then. And that'd be perfect because then you can start getting your Daphnia cultivating in there.
I might just go and get some and put them in a builder's bucket then.
No, you don't need a lot.
What's the handful?
Oh, in fact, I've got a bag of it here. Pop round in the morning, I'll give you a handful.
Oh, I'll just chuck that in a bucket with air bubbler.
No, chuck it in that nature pond. It'll turn it green. You get natural fucking Daphnia and that bloom in there. Then you just go in with a net, scoop out the Daphnia straight into your tank with your fry.
Do you know how long it's taken me to get that water as clear as that?
Why do you want it that clear? It's a nature pond.
Yeah, exactly that. I want to see all the natures in it. I want to see my little tadpoles was around. What I've done, it was horrible at the start of the year. I had that weed in that fine weed.
Yeah.
That was in it, and I ate it. So I got some of that tub of whatever it was, chuck that in, boom.
Blanket answer.
Huh?
Blanket answer.
Yeah, blanket weed, blanket something or other it was called.
Yeah, you nuked the shit out of that poor little pond, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I put a whole tub of it in it. I did. It was like whatever. I went
fucking ruthless.
Bosh, have that.
Absolutely ruthless.
It turned it gin. That worked. And there's no more weed.
Yeah. Yes, Simon. Yes, Simon. Simon's put in the comments here. Look, nature pond, but wants it clinical.
Listen, if I've got tadpoles, I want to see me tadpoles. I can't see it. It's good having nature if you can't see it.
But do you normally see tadpoles in a lake? No, because it's fucking green.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I want a nature pond that you can see. I might well have a fucking window on it and all. But I think I'll get myself a big bucket and chuck some things in and grow my Daphnia separate.
Yeah, I've got a little chutney barrel in the front garden that's been cooking away.
And is it full of Daphne now? Is it?
Well, hopefully, because I put some in it earlier.
How long does that take to sort of come about?
Well, what you need is you need to get that water green. So you need it directly in the sun
Yeah,
with some kind of fertilizer in there to start the initial algae bloom.
yeah. And that's
And
it. And that
once
takes its course with that.
once it goes green, that's when you can go and get a pack of Daphnia from like a garden centre or a tropical fish shop or something like that.
Yeah.
You bang them in that container, and then what will happen is they will feed off of that algae.
We ain't got nowhere around here, though, have we, like that?
I managed to get the last packet Maidenhead Aquatics in Dummer.
Oh, he does it, does he?
Yeah, it's usually a shithole up there. I mean, I got to admit, I wasn't happy when I looked. They got one of these easy ponds up there.
The one out
And
the
it's
front.
no, actually inside the garden centre, they've got an easy pond in there with 2 windows. It's running on an RZ drum. I was not happy. I walked in there, fucking fish are all over, fucking overblown and fucking bashed and beaten. Fucking K1 media floating about inside the pond everywhere. One of the bottom drain domes is off. I was not fucking happy. And the bloke's like, oh yeah, but the man who does the koi side isn't here and we're having a refit. It's like, fuck.
That's trouble. Places like that, they get young kids in there on a Saturday. Not a
That's
clue.
because things like like your Maidenhead Aquatics, yes, they're part of a company, but you'll find these ones that are in garden centres, they're franchises,
Yeah.
you know, and the rules differ. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I must admit, I've been to that one at Dummer a couple of times. I've you know, well, because only buy plants, but I walked in that place once, and it was just the shelves were half empty. There was
Yeah,
nothing really in there, and I thought it was quite, really disappointing.
yeah, hasn't changed much.
Never,
He
never.
literally lives about 5 minutes round the corner.
Who?
So ads was asking where you are geographically.
Oh, literally 5 minutes around the corner. Yeah.
Yeah, literally 5 minutes round the corner from me. Jim, I've just read that Vron's in hospital. That's fucking not good, bud. That's not good. Give me a call tomorrow. We'll have a chat. Anyway, guys and girls, on that note, I think we can round up this evening. I was going to take my glasses off, then you go all fuzzy. So, yeah, I would like to say a massive thank you to our man Stu Bob here for jumping on and having a chat with us. Cheers, Stu Bob.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
I will see you Monday.
Look forward. I'll be round yours tomorrow to get a can for that manure stuff first.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what. You can take the bag away and bring it back sealed because I'm not opening that up here because it fucking stinks.
Or I've got a better idea. You could pop round here with a handful of it and set up my little brine shrimp hatchery thing.
Yeah, I might do. Anyway, guys and girls, don't forget, thank you all for joining along. Big thank you to Stu Bob. As always, like, share, subscribe, and all that shemizzle. Don't forget, Detailers asking what fertilizer do I use? What for creating my Daphnia culture? I get a barrel of water, chuck in some chicken manure pellets, wait till it goes green, and it will go pea green. Then you get some Daphnia, bang them in, and they will explode. I've been Twisted Koi. You lot out there, you know you're great, and we will see you. If I don't see you tomorrow with a video, we'll definitely see you Monday back at the farm. Night, guys.
Night all.